Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing the three same schemes, different methods, and we're starting out with the base color Monster Brown, and we're doing the dry brush scheme first. And so the first color we're using is Skeleton Bone, and this will be our first dry brush layer over the Monster Brown. It'll give it more of a cream look, and that's what it's looking like after that. And then we'll use the matte white, and this will be our highlight color on top of the Skeleton Bone, and we'll catch the gun with this white as well. And what this will do is get our edges nice and stark white, so when we start applying the yellow over top of that, you'll be able to see a nice vibrant yellow to a dark brown fade. And at the same time it's adding texture because we're dry brushing. And it gives it a really cool weathered look. So that's what it's looking like with the Phoenix Flames layered up. Site color we use is Moondust. This will be our highlight for the yellow. And then after that I'll go back and add my own little dings and scratches and stuff, just using a detailed brush and just straight Moondust. And then after that we'll use pure red over the top plate on this plasma gun. And having that white underneath will give it a faded look for that red color. Then after that we'll use Lava Orange as a highlight for the pure red. And we based his sigil on his chest with the pure red as well. Next I'm using Game Ink. I do a mix with water 1:1 with this Game Ink. And this is just straight black. And I didn't do any metallic colors on this because I wanted a nice contrast between that yellow and everything else. So I think the really dark, you know, gray with the white highlights with that black wash over it, you know, it breaks everything up really nicely and it works well with the yellow. I really like the way it looks. So next we use Tan Flesh, and we're using this as a highlight for a sigil over the pure red to give it more of a clay color look, which can be seen on some Imperial Fist schemes. And then I just use Soft Tone as a wash over top of the sigil. Next we'll be using Void Shield for the glow effect, and we just base the little rib part that glows with just matte white. And now we're just using Void Shield to add that glow effect to it. We'll do the same thing for his eye, and then we'll use Blue Tone as a wash. And that's pretty much it for the dry brush scheme. It's real quick and easy, and it's a lot of fun to do without having to be as accurate as some other schemes. But the next one that we're doing is the airbrush one, and I skipped the Skeleton Bone step, and I just went with the matte white airbrush step over the monster, because it automatically gives it a smooth transition through an airbrush, and I felt like I could skip the Skeleton Bone and still have the same effect. And then we just airbrushed the gun with the matte white, and now we're just using Phoenix Flames over that transition, and you can already see it's getting a really cool smooth faded look for that yellow. Then after the Phoenix Flames, we would use the moondust as a highlight. And same thing as the Phoenix Flames, except for we're just focusing on a smaller area within the Phoenix Flames. And we're just adding that yellow highlight on top. And now I will use a detail brush and start edging everything with just straight moondust. And I use the moondust to base his trim work on his pads as well, because I wanted to do a red trim on his pads, so I used the moondust as an undercolor, kind of like the white and the yellow. So I used the yellow as an undercolor, used the pure red so I can get that orangish look on his trim work. I'll use a really wet pure red over top of the moondust. And I think the line work on him really adds to the whole look of the smooth armor. And here we're just highlighting around the red section on his gun. And we'll base the rivet sections, the rib sections, in between white too. So next I'm using pure red, and like I said, I'm using a watered down version over top of the yellow just to give it a brighter orangish color. And then I'll use tan flesh over the white on his sigil. I wanted to have that have a different a color than before, since we're doing the red trim pads. I think those colors really work well together. So we're just basing the pure red, and that's what he's looking like so far. And now we'll do the game ink wash with the black. And one thing I like to do is I use my finger to wipe away a wash over top of a color that I want to have that original color show through, and it'll give it a really good transition on the color that you're wiping away from, especially with the game ink, because when you go to wipe it, you know, it's pretty much already stained, but you'll still get that pure color show through, so you'll have that nice transition. Same thing for the sigil. And then I decided to do a purple glow, and so I used Warlock as a airbrush step, and then purple tone to wash the eye and the gun. And I just wanted to show a different glow effect for that one. And the third scheme, this is a mix of the first two, except for we're adding more weathering with stippling. And so I did the airbrush step with the white over the monster brown, and then now I'll just go straight to Phoenix Flames with the dry brush. It's not really a dry brush, I'm gonna call it a mop brush, because I leave it really wet, but I don't have a lot of pigment on there, and so it moves it around more than spreading it around. And so it automatically creates a pretty cool texture over top of the white. And then I'll go back with the moondust and do the same thing. You know, it's more of a mop brush. And then I'll go back with moondust again, this time more pigment, and I'm basically just batting it or stippling over top of that mop brush. And again, I call it mop brush because I'm not really dry brushing, and it's more wet than dry. I just don't have a lot of pigment. What I'll do is I'll stick my brush in the water, and then I'll get a little bit of pigment on my brush while it's wet, and then I'll mix it together on a palette. So I added a different color. I wanted to do stippling and chip look to it to give it more of a weathered look. And so I used necromancer, and then now I'm just using straight white. And it'll create that nice texture over top of the necromancer. And I think it works well with the yellow. Same thing, we're just using the pure red and then the lava orange for the highlight. And then we'll use the gaming black. And this time I'm doing the trim work around his pads black as well, and his sigil. And I added white trimming on the sections on his gun just so it'll show through once I do the black wash. And as well, I black washed all the pouches and everything that would be metallic, and in between his armor, all his joint sections. And we're doing the same thing as the first scheme. We're using the void shield blue to create the glow on the weapon, except for this time I like to use the gaming red for the eye, just to show something different. And this model actually had some damage on it for around his eye, and so I implemented a scratch into it just using necromancer in white. But that's pretty much it for that scheme. Here's all three compared. I hope y'all enjoy this type of video, and I really have fun making it, showing three different ways you can create a color scheme while using, for the most part, the same color, give or take a color or two for each of those schemes. At the same time, using different tools for each method. And I just like to show options, or to give you options on what you can do with, not really a lot of colors, because I just use mainly 2 yellows, a white, a brown, and then a wash, with a red. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.